Good morning and welcome to the Renatus Elevate team call. This is your host, Keely Austin. Today is Thriving Thursday, and as of right now, we have 22 participants on the line. I think the text message went out a bit later than normal, so I hope that more people jump on, but make sure that you reach out to your team. For those of you who are on, reach out to your team, copy paste the text message to them, make sure that you're inviting people to this call, especially today. We've got a fantastic trainer for us today. So a little bit of information regarding Bob. Bob has been involved with Renatus for 14 years, so he has a ton of experience to share with us. He started with 0 in credit and now has $1 million in business credit. He's made a couple $1 million in marketing. He's flipped historical homes. He has lots and lots of rentals. Bob has a very big heart and he has a nationwide team. He is out of Chicago. And if I'm not mistaken, he typically is number one with the Rose as far as how many people they have at their events as being the event host. So again, we're very fortunate to get to learn from Bob today. Bob, are you with us this morning?
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me do a little bit of research here. And in the meantime, if anyone has any questions or any comments, anything they want to share, I think it would be a good idea if anyone has any wins that they want to share, any wins in the last week. Please come out and share your wins with us, and then I will be reaching out to Bob and seeing what's going on.
Kelly, I just sent him a text.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Is that Wanda?
Yeah.
Thank you, Wanda. I texted him earlier this morning as well. So, not sure. Are you back in Puerto Rico?
I am. I was in Chicago last week, and it was awesome. I did an awesome training in Super Saturday. And today I was going to talk about being happy. So let's celebrate being happy, be positive, and let's wait for Bobby because Bobby will be here. He's an awesome, awesome leader, and I spent some time with him at Super Saturday last Saturday, and it was awesome. He is a wealth of knowledge, and I love learning from him because he has awesome stories and understanding of our business and also the experience of being with the previous company with Bob Snyder and now with Renatus as part of the PAC meeting. So he's awesome. I really love Bob Tierney. Is he on the line?
Hey, Wanda.
Hi.
Hey, this is Jeremy, and I keep hearing about your napkin presentation closing over
yes.
and over again. It is like the highlight of everything that happened over the last couple of weeks in Super Saturdays. And
Really?
I would love, and I called Keely. I'm like, Keely, is there anything, because we were in the Mark Kohler event when you were doing that, and I would just love to have an opportunity to see you do your napkin presentation.
I will prepare for that. Yes, it's the way I do follow-ups. I'm normally, if you're going to be meeting at a restaurant or at a Starbucks or any place, I just grab a napkin and a pen and I start doing my presentation. It's 4 steps. I go over the curriculum, I go over the plan of study, and then the ways to pay, and then the earnings plan, and all in the napkin. Yeah, it's really, really cool. And I demonstrated how to do it, and they were amazing. And then what I did at the Super Saturday, I gave people a napkin. So as I was doing it and role playing it, they were writing their own notes on the napkin. So that means that they learned and they took their napkins with them. So yeah, I will plan on doing that here for sure. Thank you.
My
Hi,
pleasure.
Wanda. This is
Yeah.
Gilda.
Oh, Hilda, how are you? Good morning.
Doing great, doing great. Great to hear from you. And I was just gonna, make a comment on Jeremy. And if you want, I don't know if you signed up. Probably you didn't for the Super Saturday that Wanda gave for Saturday. You can actually still get that if you want to go to your back office. You pay the $50 and you get a recorded of it, and then she did a great job, and I kept my napkin. So 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 yeah, you could go and get that if you want to get the recording. So
Oh, that's a good option too. It costs like
mhm.
$50 if you want to listen to the whole presentation. It was a great Super Saturday. Nancy did one part, and then I did. Then Scott did the earnings plan, and then I came up and did the afternoon. And honestly, it's one of the best Super Saturdays that I've seen. Well, and
I think that was awesome. You
yeah.
really rocked, Wanda. That was, I mean, I heard a lot of feedback from people, and they really loved it. And
Thank
yeah,
you, thank you.
in
I
fact,
appreciate it.
there was one guy that was attended, and he gets so confused because I explained to him, excuse me, sometimes he asks me questions about the systems and stuff, and he gets kind of confused. But that time he said he was just so, he said he understood how you explained it, the best follow up he's ever seen. So it was,
Yes.
yeah, it was awesome. So thank you so much for coming out. I know you had to stay here for a week, and it was really awesome. So we're so grateful that you came out and share your wisdom, to us.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Gilda. And thank you for all the food that you brought me. It was
Oh,
amazing.
you're welcome.
And yeah.
We'll do it
Well,
again.
yes. Oh, definitely.
Next time
I'm
we'll be more prepared.
yeah, I think I'm gonna be in Sacramento with James Lee's in June. So anybody that could be there as well. And I'm gonna pretty much repeat the same. I'd be going through different markets and doing Super Saturdays. So in June, it be Sacramento for now. And I'll be presenting pretty much the same presentation. I may make some tweaks because in Chicago, it's the first time I presented it this way. And as I go through different markets and showing, because this business is so simple. And sometimes we just complicate stuff and we just overthink. And no, I think we just need to simplify things. And I used to be a school teacher, so I can put things in a very, very simple way. That's one of my talents. And that's pretty much what I did with this napkin approach. What I do with my napkin approach is because I definitely want people to understand, and it's not to convince people, it's something to make the people curious about what we do and collect decisions. That's why I do it so simple, because with that simple explanation, they can make a decision and then they can learn the earnings plan in a bigger, broad and understanding of the buckets and everything else. But if you complicate the earnings plan for new people, then they're gonna feel that they can do it. Because one of the obstacles is that if they cannot do it, or they feel they cannot do it, they will not do it. But if they feel, oh, this is simple, I think I can do this will work for me, then they make a decision to start and join us. That's pretty good.
Well, I can tell you honestly, I've never considered paying $50 for a napkin in my life until now.
Yes, that's good. The whole presentation is good. So at the end is the napkin, but really the whole presentation is good.
Well, I love the fact that you made it that simple, and I'm so excited to have new leaders like you showing up to bring that kind of simplicity and application to all of us. So thank you very much for doing that.
I appreciate your comments. Thank you so much. Hilly, any word from Bobby? Or Bob? Oh, he's on. Bob,
He
come
texted me just a
on.
moment ago, but I didn't see him jump
He's
on
on.
yet.
He's on. Okay,
Okay.
jump in. I'm going to be quiet. Thank you.
Bob, are you there?
He's probably mute.
Where did you see him come on? Because I don't see him.
He texted me.
He texted me that he is dialing in, and I don't see his number on
And
the,
he texted me that I am on the call.
Okay. Bob, can you come off mute? All right. Bob is just going to switch over from dialing into the Zoom so that he can train us better. So Wanda, I appreciate you coming out and sharing some information with us. And yeah,
You're
please,
welcome.
next week, if you could do the napkin training, that would be fantastic. I'd love
Yeah.
to see a very simple way of sitting down and showing this to somebody. So I'm interested to see that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it could be next week because the thing is that I will need my iPad and my iPad is in Utah. So maybe it will be the week after Nationals. And over my phone, I cannot do it. But I could try. I could try because I can use my finger on my phone.
My gosh.
And that will make it even more simpler.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will do my best. Oh, I can practice before next week. If I can figure it out that I can control my finger and do it nicely, then I would. Yeah.
Hi, good morning. Can you hear me now?
Hi, Bob.
We can hear you.
Oh my gosh. Oh, yeah, for some reason I could hear all of you. I could hear the conversation, but I was on mute and I could not unmute myself until I dialed in on my computer. So anyway, good morning. How are you?
I'm amazing. How are you, Bob?
Oh, very good. Excited about my trip. I'm heading to Phoenix in a few hours here to speak at Dr. G and Sylvia Lawrence's meeting tonight and do Super Saturday for Zach Ullman. We're actually doing an ICM training tomorrow also. So I've been traveling a lot lately. So first of all, good morning, everybody. I've been with this organization now 14 years. I can't believe I just celebrated my 14th year anniversary. And just a little bit of my background in case you don't know me. I spent 18 years as a remodeling contractor. Off and on, I tried to get out of the trades a couple times, but went to DePaul University in downtown Chicago and had a great job, got a great job in 1999 in corporate America as a software trainer. My education was in entrepreneurship strategy and computer science. I had a dual major. And got a job as a software trainer making $50 an hour. And 7 months after I got my dream job, the millennium bug had been, quote, cured. And 22 people got laid off that day, and I was one of them. And so I looked for work for about 4 months, and my best offer was $40,000 a year. Now all these IT people are on the market. And I went back in the trades because it's what I knew, and I had an epiphany that job security is an oxymoron. And my daughter was 11 years old at the time. And so it just started the wheels spinning. You know, what am I going to do with my life? How am I going to make sure that this never happens again? I watched my credit hit 420, my FICO score, because I was unable to pay my bills. I was evicted from an apartment. And so as I was back in the trades and working construction, I had the experience of working for real estate investors. So people that were buying properties, rehabbing them for fix and flip, rehabbing them for buy and hold. And I witnessed, you know, person after person after person after person make money on these properties that we were rehabbing. And I always dreamed about it. You know, how am I going to learn how to do this? One of my customers bought a 13-bedroom, 7-bathroom house built in 1893 that had been vacant for 10 years. And the vagrants had gone in and stripped all, took all the 6 posts and spindle, cabinetry, and everything was stolen. And when he bought it, the city of Chicago grandfathered the taxes for 10 years to incentivize somebody to buy it. So they took the taxes down to like $1,000 a year. And so incentivized this guy. He bought it for $375, rehabbed it for $1.1 million, creatively financed the real estate deal because I couldn't ask him for money when I wanted to get paid. And when we were finished with that project, when that project was completed, it appraised for $2.2 million. And so when I realized that the investor had made $700,000 on this property, on mine and a lot of other people's time, effort, and energy, blood, sweat, and tears some days, I realized I was the right business doing the wrong thing. And so that was my motivation. And that was in 2003 when that property was finished. And and I had bought Carlton sheets. I'd been to a couple seminars, but I was really interested, and I just started going to as many things as I could. And I was disenchanted with the world of real estate investment education and training, especially back then. It seemed really gimmicky. There was lots of sales pitches from the stage, and today only prices of their training programs. Normally our program is $20,000, but for today only it's $4,000 or stuff like that. So in 2006, when I actually answered a roadside sign. So a lot of people ask me, how did you end up finding out about this program? Well, I saw a sign on the side of a road that was handwritten, and I slammed on the brakes and pulled over. And my wife is like, "What do you call it? What are you doing? That looks like a scam." And I'm like, "Well, somebody wrote that sign, and it's on the block we live, so they must be close." And so I called it, and the guy that called me back was, his name was Chad Wade. Chad did not live in Illinois. He lived in Salt Lake City. And so I was instantly skeptical because Salt Lake City is the MLM capital of the world. But I talked to him, and he invited me down to a meeting, and I told him I would come, and then I blew him off. And I would not be here today if he wasn't persistent and leave me a couple of voicemails. So I want to, so as we're getting into my training this morning, being persistent and with people brings credibility, right, to you as a marketing affiliate, because the fact that he followed up, that he left a message, that he was persistent with me is the reason I'm here today. So there's a lot of wisdom in what Chad did to get me in the program. So the other thing that Chad did very eloquently was he took all the pressure away, because I remember when I finally did call him back after he left me a message, I was stuck in traffic, which isn't too hard to do on a Thursday night in Chicagoland, and it was like 6:30 p.m. and I was on the road doing a mile an hour on 90, And I decided to listen to my voicemails, and when I heard his voice, I'm like, this guy's left me a couple voices. I'm going to call him back. And he says to me, he goes, "Where are you?" And I said, I'm on 90. Are you anywhere near Cumberland? I was at Harlem. It was the next stop, and I was like, "It's the next stop." Why? He goes, Get off the expressway. You gotta go to this meeting." And I said, "Chad, listen, man. I've been painting all day. I've got paint and plaster in my hair." He's like, "I don't care what you look like. You gotta go. Brush yourself off in the bathroom." And he wasn't even there, right? He was he set me up to meet somebody there. And so I went into that meeting, and I did. I brushed myself off in the bathroom. And so, his taking the pressure away from me, helping me overcome my skepticism. I went to that meeting, and the guy that talked to me after the meeting had no financial vested interest in my joining the program. But he was willing to talk to me. And that's another aspect of Renatus that I love so much, is our willingness to support each other, regardless of income. And as I got at, as I came to my first meeting, and he had invited me to come to a real estate workshop. The other thing he did was so I came to my first meeting in February, and then the workshop was in March. And he said, the organization will pay you a commission if you invite some people to come to this workshop and they're inspired. And I said to him, well, I don't know you yet. I don't know this group yet. I'm not going to, I don't know enough about it to invite anybody. So please don't ask me to do that again. And so I was a jerk. Is what I was. And I went to that first workshop with my wife, and in 3 hours, I learned stuff. I learned so many things I never heard of. It was a short sale workshop. Never heard of a short sale before in my life. Didn't know it was in a bank's best interest to negotiate a discount on a payoff on a mortgage. Never heard of a self-directed retirement plan, because he was talking about raising capital or building business credit and getting credit cards inside of a corporation separate from your own name. My credit was shot, so we talked about the possibility of still being able to raise money regardless of credit score. That I could creatively buy properties and work directly with homeowners in the banks and not deal with real estate agents. That was something I didn't know was even possible. And 3 hours after my wife and I sat in this workshop that morning, I look at her, getting towards lunchtime, and I look at her and I just shake my head. I'm like, I'm such an idiot. Every single person I know should have been in this room today. This was really, truly amazing. And the thing I think was the biggest breakthrough for me was being a real estate investor has integrity, something that is honest, that's ethical. It helps people. It makes a difference. It creates win-win-win situations and scenarios for people. And I had never seen it from that perspective, because most of the real estate investors that I had worked for, except for the exception of a couple. There's a couple really, really great customers that I had, but for the most part, when people hire contractors, they're trying to get as much as they can for as little as they want to pay, and it's always a challenge, right, to do quality craftsmanship and get it done for a reasonable price, and so there's always a challenge, especially working with people that are trying to make money in real estate, which I'm grateful that I've had those experiences now that I'm an investor myself. But that real estate workshop was very powerful. And then, I went to a regional training. There happened to be one that the end of that month or the beginning of the next month, and I got to meet Mr. Bob Snyder for the first time. And so, my wife and I had gotten married in November of 2005, and I paid for the wedding, the ring. We had moved into a house together, so I was out of money, man. I couldn't even afford to take my wife on a honeymoon when we had gotten married, and so you can imagine when I'd come home from my meeting and sharing with my wife the cost of the program, she says to me, if you want to learn real estate, go to the library. The books are free. And I remember saying something to the effect of, well, if it's that easy, then why isn't everybody rich? Why don't I just go to the library and read a book? It's got to be more to it than that. And I'm a hands-on type of person. I'm a social person. I like to be around people. I want to ask questions. I want to be able to see it, touch it, feel it. And I know there's a lot of people like me out there. And so it took me until April to save up the money for the down payment on the beginning course. And this is another thing I remember my mentor said to me. He said, I don't care how much money you have in your bank account. It doesn't matter to me what package you buy, right? That you start is more important than how you start. And I'm going to support you no matter what you decide. And I really appreciate that. You know, as I look back on my early days, and you know, as we're talking to new people, as we're bringing new people into our group and program, you know, how they feel treated, how, you know, their perspective of the level of support that they're going to receive is a huge determining factor in, you know, whether they decide to move forward or not. And so, you know, I wanted to share this story with you this morning because as you are, you know, taking on Renatus, taking on, you know, learning about real estate investing and taking on learning about, you know, how to be an effective marketing affiliate. That's a journey, right? And there's a lot to what we do and what we teach. Tremendously more today than when I joined, right? When I joined, there was about, you know, 12 or 14 instructors and, you know, 28 classes or something like that. And, you know, I was blown away. I mean, my first real estate deal, I partnered with somebody in the group, and my share of the profit was $22,500, and that project took 4 weeks, the construction. And I had never made that much money in 4 weeks in my life. And the other thing that I did when I was working on that house was I opened it up to property tours and invited people that had been answering my advertisements to come out and see that property. And so, you know, I had great mentorship, right? And my mentor helped me understand that one business feeds the other, right? If you actually look at how Renatus is designed, it's designed so that people can earn money while they're learning real estate and earn money while they're doing real estate, and having those two businesses serve each other. And today, you know, our most successful top income earners do both, right? Including Mr. Michael Huggins, whose call this is, right? We do both. And I think that's such a powerful aspect of it. I hear a lot of people, you know, try to decide, well, which am I going to do, marketing or real estate? And my invitation, you know, I invite you to consider that your marketing business will serve your real estate business. And the way that it serves it, there's many ways, right? So let's just talk about a few of them so you can get some clarity. As a real estate investor, I need a few things, right? I need a few things on a consistent basis. The first thing I need is deal flow, right? And the best real estate deals that we'll ever do are the ones that are referrals, right? The ones that are off market, a friend of a friend, somebody that knows somebody that's in a situation or needs somebody, needs some help. And those real estate deals are the best ones because, you know, people do business with people they know, they like, and they trust. So the best possible way that I can have a consistent flow of real estate deals coming into my life and into my business is have a bunch of people around me that are trained in how to find deals, how to have conversations with homeowners. And I'll give you a couple examples. I brought a young man named Jim Stitt. He had answered an ad. He got started. He came into the program, started working on his business, got his corporation started and set up, started working on building his business credit, and was out and about, had taken his real estate classes, saw an estate sale sign, which is one of the ways that our instructors talk about, one of the ways to find property that's off market. So if you ever see an estate sale sign, pull over and go to the estate sale. Because an estate sale is where they're selling all the contents of a house. And there's only a few reasons that somebody will sell all of the contents of a house, right? You know, mom and dad's gotten up in years. They're moving into a a new home, assisted living facility or something like that. Somebody's gotten ill and they've decided to move, which was the case of this particular property. Gentleman had gotten cancer and had been fighting it for 2 years and had beat it and decided he was moving to Oregon. People downsizing, so they just don't need the furniture anymore, don't need a house that big anymore. So, he went there and just like the script talks about in the class, said to the, people running the estate sale, hey, there's a house happened to be for sale. And they said, well, it's going to be, but it needs a lot of work, right? It's been vacant for over a year, and there's some raccoons that got in the house. And I said, well, I might have somebody that would buy it, as is. And he goes, okay, well, let's talk. So he goes around the corner and he calls me and he's so excited. He's like, Bob, oh my gosh, I think I found a deal. And it was a 5-bedroom house on a half acre in Barrington, which is about 20, 25 minutes from my house, which is inside of my zone. I like to do real estate deals within 30 minutes of where I lived. And so I came over and checked it out and got a chance to speak with the homeowner who had a real estate agent who lived across the street who was going to represent him. I got a chance to meet her. And I made an offer on the property. And so, bringing Jim into this program, having him go through the classes, earned a commission for that, and now he's, out there finding deals. He wasn't ready to do the deal on his own. It's a big house that needed a lot of work. This is his very first real estate deal. But he had also gotten $60,000 in corporate credit inside of his corporation because he took the building business credit classes and the credit classes. And he was in the process of, getting himself 5-star qualified. And so, bringing people into Renatus has brought in deal after deal after deal after deal after deal over the years because, I just, got a reputation of somebody that could get real estate deals done, and I was buying fix and flips and buying buy and holds. So I used the Renatus education platform to build a team of people around me that have real estate knowledge now and are capable now of going out and finding deals. And, sometimes they bring deals to me because they were within my, my investor ID and within my radius of where I was willing to look at property. And, then they would get trained to do deals themselves. So that's one of the ways that I've used the Renatus educational platform and the wealth cycle and the opportunity to build team and to build people around us that, are trained, because together we can do a heck of a lot more real estate deals than we can individually. The second thing that we need as real estate investors is we need consistent money flow. And, there's many ways to raise capital, but the more people that we bring into Renatus that go through our education classes and learn about how to fix their credit, learn about how to build business credit, learn about how to create income through the earnings plan, learn about how to self-direct their IRA and 401ks, learn all the different raising capital strategies. Right now we've got a huge amount of people around us that are skilled in those areas. And so, a lot of people that are new in this business are like, oh, how do you raise money? How do you have a consistent flow of capital that is available so that you can continually bring money into your business? And my answer to that is teach people how to raise money, right? Teach people how to self-direct their retirement plans. And there's, many retirement plans now that have been self-directed because of people buying an essentials course and seeing the opportunity to self-direct those funds. And we just had another reminder of why it's so important to diversify a portfolio as we lost $2 trillion in 1 week in the stock market. And, I personally know somebody that lost over $100,000 in value in their portfolio that week and wasn't really happy about it. Luckily, this particular person also owns a pretty sizable rental portfolio, so they're doing well. But, just the reality of losing $100,000 in a week in the stock market is sobering. And so there's a lot of people that, are completely, that's all they have. They have a 401k or an IRA. It's in stocks, it's in mutual funds. And they don't understand that they've never even heard of a self-directed retirement plan. So as we are out there, sharing the quality of the education and the life-changing strategies that are within our organization, it is an amazing experience for people. And so, if somebody has, and I know somebody personally here in Chicago named Pat McCrimmon, he had lost 3/4 of his life savings in the downturn of the stock market. He was in tech. He was a project manager in the technical field. Had lost his job in his 50s. Stock market crash took 3/4 of his life savings. He had kids on the way to college and thought he was going to have to work the rest of his year, the rest of his life, and had there was no end in sight, no possibility for him. Well, he came down. It took me 4 months to convince him to at least to buy his education, but he finally did. And he took that money he had left in his retirement plan and he turned it into, as Scott Rowe would say, he turned his savings, right, his nest egg, into a chicken that lays eggs. So, what is it? One of the ways that you can self-direct a retirement plan? Well, you can buy rental property, or you could do fix and flips inside of your retirement plan. And so he started using this last little money he had, right, to do real estate. And today, so I remember the day that he quit his job because he had to go back to work, but he bought a 15-unit building, which positive cash flowed enough for him to quit. And it took a few years between the time he started and the time that 15-unit building was bought, but he did, a bunch of fix and flips. I remember he made $53,000 on his first fix and flip, and he took us out, my wife and I, out to dinner at Wildfire, which is a really nice restaurant here in Chicagoland. And then he's done 40 fix and flips. We also celebrated his 40th fix and flip. And recently, this past year, he bought a 56-unit apartment complex, 14 4-unit buildings, $2.3 million deal. He raised $600,000, combination of private lenders and self-directed retirement plans. He raised the capital, and he's going to rehab those units. So he had the seller finance. He did put a down payment. He's now rehabbing the units. The value of this apartment complex will be increased when the rents are increased it'll increase $1 million. It'll provide $20,000 a month in revenue for him and his brother, and it'll provide another $20,000 a month in revenue for the investors in the deal, who he split the deal 50-50 with the people that he raised the $600,000 from. How's that for one real estate deal? Right, one real estate deal, 3 years, $500,000 in profit each for him and for the investors, and $20,000 a month in income. And I know that Pat and his brother own 88 units today, and he joined us back in 2008. So, as you the other aspect we're talking about, what is it that I need as a real estate investor, and how do I leverage the Renata system to help me gain access to these things? Than all the other stuff, right? Like the earnings plan. So Renata could market its products and services traditionally, like other real estate investment education and training companies, right? We could have billboards, and we could have a phone room where people are answering the phones. We could have, infomercials on television, like Fortune Builders and other companies do. We could have radio ads and magazine spots and newspaper articles, and we could send postcards to people that are in the world of real estate, and we could spend that money, right, 50% of our income on lead generation and customer acquisition, right? That's the way most businesses work. But the direct sales aspect of how we chose to market the Renatus education program serves our community, serves our customers, it serves our real estate investor community in a way that other programs do not. And there's organizations out there that charge, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 for their education, and there's no referral program, and so people spend their money, and now the organization doesn't have a vested interest financially in that person actually being successful. They've already got your money. And that's one of the things I absolutely love about the Renatus affiliate program. So when I sign somebody up for an essentials course, and I make $1,000, it's great. I love the income, $1,000. I can make $1,000 with a 20-minute conversation with somebody and ask them to come out to a meeting. They like it. They come to a follow-up. They like it. They might come to a property tour, a real estate workshop. They like what they see, and they decide to buy an essentials course. And how much time did I actually spend with that one individual personally? Half an hour. I never made $1,000 in a half an hour in construction, and so I love that aspect of the program. Now, as the marketing affiliate, right? This can go a couple of ways. Right? They can buy their education. I can help them log into their business center. I can teach them how to watch their classes, teach them how to download their audios, how to get access to their workbooks, and I can help foster that experience. And if I do a really good job of fostering a good experience, and people love their classes and they love their experience and they feel like they got their $2,000 worth, they're likely to recommend me. If I don't, then if I don't do a good job, then they're not likely to recommend me. So it's in my best interest financially to serve my team, to serve my customers, to make a difference for them, and then I get paid again, right? And then I get paid again and again and again and again for the rest of my life. So Renatus is so genius, the way that Bob Snyder evolved in this world of direct sales, which I really had no prior experience with except bad experience, right? I had two experiences with a multi-level market, with two different multi-level marketing companies, and both of them were not good. And so I didn't understand the industry of direct sales. I didn't understand the personal growth aspect and the skill building aspect of it. And so, I love the fact that we are compensated to do a good job, to support people, to make a difference, to help foster their training and development within our organization. And if I do a good job with my new student and he recommends me, then they can get 1-star qualified. Now they're making money themselves. So I'm putting somebody in an income generating position that they were not before. And if we do a good job, maybe we get them into credit repair. Now we could do that for free, which is just remarkable, right? We can help get them funding for their education. I got somebody that is just got approved for funding for Get Funded Online yesterday. I had a woman on my team get $59,000 at 0% interest. Had another get $36,000 at 0% interest. A guy named Jerry just got $38,000 something dollars at 0% interest for 15 months. Diane, she was so great. She decided to buy her education. She went for funding. She got $59,000. She bought her X combo. The payment on the X combo portion was about $193 a month. She figured out. She gets 15 months at that. Then she refinanced all of her high interest debt, and at 0%, her payments are lower today than they were when she met me, and she has her X combo. Right, so it's just remarkable what's possible with the funding systems and programs that we have today. But if we do a good job with our Essentials course owner, they're likely to upgrade, right? If we don't do a good job, then they're not likely to upgrade. And so we're incentivized financially to support people, to add in all of the pieces of the puzzle that Renatus itself is missing. And I love the 50% commission payout program, so that's why we have created a whole army of customer service reps. Right, instead of, and I know we have great customer service reps at Renatus, but there's only a few of them, right, to deal with, technical issues and login problems and password situations and, stuff like that. But the training, development, the support, for our customers comes from us who get paid the commissions to support them. And so Renatus is genius in its methodology that they created, that we get compensated to support people. And if somebody buys our comp, we get paid again. If they then start taking real estate investment education classes and they start learning about legal and tax strategies and get their corporation started and set up, now they self-direct their retirement plan. They fix their credit. They start building business credit. They become products of our program. And that's one of the best possible ways for you to be a better marketing affiliate, is to help foster that process, help foster that experience for your team members. And as they start, little wins. You don't have to do a real estate deal to have some fantastic wins in the program. Shoot, I know somebody on my team that had their credit score increased 200 points because of creditnerds.com. I have another that, we talked about Jim, who had gotten $60,000 in business credit inside of his corporation. Scott Huminski is another fantastic story that was struggling in the program, got $85,000 in business credit, found a house for $83,000, bought it, owned it free and clear inside of his company, then went to a hard money lender, borrowed $105,000, which he paid himself $20,000 out of that, which saved his house because he was going to lose it. And then he fixed that house up that over 6 months, sold it, and made $133,000 in profit on his first deal. And then he made $98,000 on a second deal, right? So it took him 13 months to buy that first and second house, but then he ended up making $250,000 in profit and was able to pay himself to rehab those properties. So as you start having people that are successful in your group, and now some of you on this phone are in areas where Renatus is relatively new, right? I know Minnesota is just coming up on the map, and there's some new people up there, and they got a few deals now that they're doing within the community, and it's taken a while to get that off the ground. But once it starts rolling, and you have evidence of success of people within your group that have the capacity now to do property tours, right? Renatus becomes this thing that's real, right? It's actual, it's working, it's something that's provable, right? There's evidence, all right, success leave clues. There's some clues being left around that people within the Renatus organization are actually becoming successful. And, success breeds success as you start to, become somebody in the world that is knowledgeable in real estate, and you start having conversations. And for me, it took about 3 weeks of training. So back in those days, we had to fly to take the classes. And what you guys have, it's so good today compared to what we did. I spent the $20,000 on my education plus another $2,000 every time we flew down to Phoenix for a week for my wife and I, airfare, rental car, lodging, meals, all that for 8 days was a big deal. And so anyway, as you have people that are now becoming products of the products of our product, now that it starts to shine. And I love this saying, that we're in business for ourselves, but we're not by ourselves. And that's another thing that my mentor was so masterful at was helping his prospects come and see all of the other people that were in the group, and the generosity of people within our organization, especially here in Chicago. There's literally 10 different people that do property tours throughout the month on a consistent basis. We've got so many people that we can showcase. And if your area is not having property tours yet, then maybe that's something that you could start doing. You can do property tours when you don't even own property. You could go on a property analysis tour. So you could set up a few houses to go look at, take your tablet, connect it to Renatus iOS, and go analyze 3 real estate deals in the morning, and then meet for lunch afterwards. You don't have to have a real estate deal being purchased yet, if you don't have those in your area. But creating these experiences for people, right? As there's a real evidence of success that is showcaseable right now, and that it just changes it, right? Because none of the gurus, right, are doing deals in the local markets all over the country like Renatus is. It's just remarkable, right? Cities all over the United States that we have. that we have, access to. And so, and then all of the events that you have the opportunity to bring people to. And, I love the most skeptical people, because if I can win over a skeptical person, they become raving fans, diehard raving fans of our company. I was one of the most skeptical people that had ever walked through the doors of this organization. And, and they won me over, and it was the event after event after event after event after event that started to, change my perspective and change my mindset. Well, you guys have the most powerful event that you could possibly bring a guest to coming up here in about 3 weeks. We're talking about the national conference. It's coming up April 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And I would not be here today if my mentor did not twist my arm. And when I say twist my arm, he said, listen, I don't care if you buy your education or not, because I was trying to save up for my ex-combo because I really wanted to do real estate. And he's like, listen, the education's not going anywhere, but the national conference is only happening once, and you cannot afford to miss it. He goes, if you miss it, you'll be out of this company. You're not going to see it or understand it from this perspective that I do. And I was like, well, I've been saving up for I have a little bit of cash saved, but man, that's for my education. He goes, then do it on the cheap, and this is how you do it on the cheap. Get up really early and fly out the morning of the conference, right? So take the first 5 a.m. flight. It'll get you to Phoenix in time. This is back in the day when it was in Phoenix, not Salt Lake, but it's still the same thing today. You could take a 5 a.m. flight, land, get in a cab, or ride with somebody else that's doing the same thing, or take a bus or whatever, and get yourself to the event. If you need to change your clothes, change in the bathroom. Check your bags with the bag check. Go to the conference. Starts at 9 o'clock, so button seat by 9, and then you have basically 2 nights in a hotel room, and you can fly home that night. So you could do the same thing, right? You could go fly in Thursday, stay Thursday night, stay Friday night, go to the conference Saturday, and fly home right after the conference is over. At 6 p.m. it ends on Saturday, and you could take a 8 p.m. flight home. That's a cheap way to do it. And right now, airline tickets have plummeted in price, so we've got an opportunity to have cheap airline tickets. And I know people are freaked out by the fear-mongering that's going on in the news. So, take care. Let's take good care of each other and take good care of ourselves by using, smart hygiene practices. Usually the National is a hug fest. Let's make it a fist bump and elbow bump fest instead this year, and just be smart about it. And take good care of yourself, get plenty of sleep. I personally take a product called the Wellness Formula, which is a immune system booster. Eat a lot of healthy food, healthy vegetables, and fruits, and if you are sick, then don't come, right? If you are sick, but don't let the fear of stop you from coming. And and we have an opportunity of a lifetime, so do it in whatever way it works for you. But don't miss it, right? And, this year especially, because myself and Michael Huggins and the PIT team, we all had to sign non-disclosure agreements to be able to talk about what is coming down the pipe for our company, and the direction that we're taking our organization is so inspiring, and they're creating a special opportunity for people that are present and accounted for at the event that will not be given to people that are not at the event. So I told all my team members, I said, I understand life it happens, whatever, but don't be mad at me and say something like, if you would have told me it was that important, or you would have told me it was that good, I would have rearranged my schedule and been there. So I don't want to hear that from anybody. I'm telling you right now, it's that good, it's that important, and we're for $357 to be able to go to this event. Is life-changing. And so, take care of yourself in the way that you need to, and come, and you're going to have an opportunity. And what happens, and for me, right, my first national conference, I remember a couple of key points. What I didn't realize is how skeptical I still was, even though I owned the beginning course. Because that whole direct sales thing, it sounds too good to be true, right? People making, $50,000 in a month. Right, sounds too good to be true from a guy that swung a hammer and, you know, barely made 50,000 a year for the majority of my working life. But going to that national, and I got to see person after person after person after person after person. And even the first few people that shared their story, I thought they were plants, man. I thought this was rigged. I thought it was engineered. But then there was this one girl, and she grabbed the microphone, and she was literally shaking. And as she shared her story, she collapsed and broke down in tears, weeping. And that was my moment. And I can get choked up even remembering that moment. That was my moment. Like, that was the moment where I was like, wow, that was not a plan. You can't fake that. And in that moment, I got Renatus. I got the power of this direct sales program, you know, to see how this woman's life had been changed so dramatically by the organization, by the education, by the earnings plan, and she was able to take care of her kids. They had gotten, you know, lost a house, lost a trailer, were living in their car with their kids. It was just a retching story. And she shared about how her and her husband had made $30,000 in a month and were able to get back into a house. And, you know, there wasn't a dry eye in the house. And so I remember that moment, because that was my moment, and that was the one where I said, you know what, this is real. And in that moment, I was like, man, I've been playing small. There's so many people out there that are suffering and hurting, and I have the cure for cancer. I need to share this with people. We have the, you know, cure for most people's financial cancer. And so I remember that moment, and then I remember the awards banquet, right? And the awards banquet was such a powerful experience. You know, as person after person after person after person after person comes on stage and shares their story and shares their why and shares their, you know, how they earned whatever award it was, and that was the most impactful experience. So if you're thinking about, you know, how am I going to get a guest, right, to invest $357 into this event? Guys, people spend thousands and thousands and thousands to go to seminars. You know, I spent $12,000 to go to a 5-day seminar on internet marketing. I mean, there's so many people out there that would see the value. You know, plus if somebody's, you know, serious about learning real estate and serious about checking out Renatus and maybe and taking advantage of our earnings plan, what a better training to go to than the national, right? So that they can see it themselves. If somebody's going to spend $20,000, they might as well, you know, spend $1,500 and go to a national, right? For lodging, airfare, all that. Right? You could probably do it on the cheap for less than $1,000 right now. So it's worth it, right? It's worth it. And you want to have as many guests there as you possibly can, because you want your guests to have the same experience that I had on my first. Because I came home. Oh my gosh, man! You come home from a national, everything's different. Right? I've watched people that had struggled in this business for, you know, the entire year and were frustrated, and go to a national, changes everything. Because now you have a different perspective, right? Now you get to see the nationwide view of our organization. And when you have a different perspective, it changes your capacity to articulate what it is, right? Who we are, what we do, the difference that we make. Because that's what people are looking for, right? They want the real deal. And people that are out there that are looking for opportunities, they want real opportunity that's authentic and genuine and not contrived and BS like most of them out there, right? And that's the one thing I love about what Bob Snyder has created. There's so much value. I mean, I cannot believe what we deliver. I mean, just between you and I, when we're on the phone on a pack call, and sometimes Bob says, well, we're going to now do this, we're going to add this, we're going to, you know, add these series of classes, we're going to do this. You know, some of us on the pack are like, Bob, you're living on 30% of the revenue of the company. How can you possibly afford to do that? Right? How could you provide that much more value for people? It's at some point, right? There's only so much pie to go around, and he figures it out. He figured it out, man. He's like, I want to have the best premier real estate investment education program and system and education company in the world. And we are not stopping until that is happening. And I believe we're there already in many aspects. I would put our $20,000 package up against any of those $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 packages that I see out there in the marketplace being marketed for everything that's brought to the table. But we're not done. And what we're announcing, this next level of opportunity and that's coming, is just remarkable, and you don't want to miss out on it. So Saturday's the deadline for the 357 price. Take advantage of that, and dig into your databases. Here's the deal. I used to think I was bothering people when I was following up with them, but I cannot tell you how many times somebody said, thank you for not forgetting about me, thank you for following up with me, I've been thinking about you, I've been frustrated, I've been busy in my job, but my kid's graduating from high school this year, and it's going to take some pressure off me, I'm going to have some more time, or people have thanked me so many times for following up with them. So dig into your database right now. You got between now and Saturday to get the 357, and then once the price raises, so it's $400. So it's still right at bargain at 10 times the price. And so then we have till the 25th. Now, what's significant about the 25th? That's the last day to buy a ticket and include the dinner. You want your people at the dinner. You also want to prepare them for the dinner. You want to prepare them that it lasts until 1 in the morning. Buy a case of 5-hour energy drinks and give them to them all at around 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, right? So they got enough energy to stay up, because you do not want to miss, right? The last 2 hours of the awards banquet is the most impactful, because that's when all the big awards come out and all the most successful people in our company have a chance to share and speak. So just prepare for it. And Bob Snyder gave us a huge gift this year. We do not start on Saturday until 10 a.m., so we can afford to stay up a little late on Friday night. So, guys, I'm so excited that we are all going to be able to get together again and see each other at this national conference. And I look forward to seeing all of you. And I'd love to get the chance to say hello, elbow bump, absolutely. And I'll be there for sure. So I also want to thank you, right, for being here, for sticking with me. I know we've gone a little over the top of the hour here, but I would like to, open the call up for a little bit. I've got some time here to answer any questions that you have, and, just do my best to serve. So who has any thoughts, comments, or questions? Go ahead and press *6 and unmute yourself. Oh, you know what? I'm on Zoom, so I don't actually know how that you unmute yourself on this system.
Hey, Bob, this is Keely.
Hi there.
Anyone on Zoom can mute button, or if they have dialed in, I believe it is *6. So anyone, if you want to make any comments for Bob or questions, please come out. I just wanted to say that I'm in Scottsdale. Bob, I'm really, really excited to meet you tonight. We've met briefly in the past, but I'd really like to get to know you a little bit better. And fantastic training today. Thank you so much. I'm really excited for Nationals. So great job today, and thanks for spending your morning with us.
Oh, my pleasure.
Does *6 work? I think it does. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you, Jeremy.
Yay! Okay, good. I was pushing like all different types of buttons. I had to call in. So I just wanted to, say thank you, Bob. You remember that you talked about the message that you sent out yesterday, just the updates, the email update. You remember sending that message?
I'm sorry, Jeremy, say that again.
There was an email that you sent out. Either it came out from Renatus or it came out from you. And anyway, it doesn't really matter, but just the conversation of getting somebody back engaged he came in, he was one of my qualifying sales 3 years ago, and he hasn't done anything with the education. And he sends me a text. He's like, hey, I just got this email. Are you going to Nationals? I'm like, yeah. Are you? He's like, thinking about it. I'm like, don't think about it. Just go. Let's go. And now he's going to go ahead. He's getting his ticket to Nationals. He's excited to be back in the conversation. He's like, I haven't done anything with this for the last 3 years. I've got my ex-combo. I just haven't done anything. And he's excited to be back in. But you were talking about that consistency and staying engaged and not pushing, but allowing people to know what the next step is. And I'm just really present to what it is that continuing to engage people in the conversation and be an invitation provides, and meeting people where they are, not trying to get them to come necessarily so much to where I am, but be where they are and take the step that's appropriate for them. So thanks for that, man. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. And when you get it, like there's a moment in time where you just get it, right? It changes. It's like a flip switch, a switch flips in your brain, and now you have a different perspective. You have a breakthrough, and the breakthrough, one of the breakthroughs for me was, you know, and it's a saying. I don't remember who said this, but you can have everything that you've ever wanted in life if you can help enough other people get what they want. And that's the definition of being a business owner, right? What does a business owner do, right? What does a business do? Well, business solves a problem, right? Provides a service, right? It helps people in some particular way. And if you want to have a great business, build a business that makes a difference for people. Build a business that solves people's problems. And, you know, that national conference experience, I got to witness firsthand all these people who had their lives changed by buying this education program, signing up as a marketing affiliate. You know, another moment, this is one of the most impactful experiences I've ever had in my life. 2 years ago, national conference, Bob Snyder, morning and Thursday morning says, if you have made money in real estate, could you please come up to the front of the room? Now, we knew he was going to do it, but we had the pack. We had never done this before. 2 years ago was the first time we ever did that. We had no idea what we were going to get. The National is a conference for our ICMs. And I'm choked up already, even thinking about that moment. As people started coming up on stage, that line went from the stage all the way to the back of the conference, all the way around the back of the audience. I mean, we were flabbergasted. All of us that are on the pack, we were just blown away. We had no clue how many people had done real estate deal because of their education with us. And oh my gosh, what an experience that was. To see the good that we're doing in the world firsthand, to be able to witness it firsthand, you know, and when you understand being a marketing affiliate is about creating this is about being someone in the world that has the capacity to articulate the value of a program such that people buy it and they do it and they take the classes and they become successful. And we foster that process. And some of y'all it takes a little longer to get you successful than others. But if you don't quit and keep putting one foot in front of the next, I mean, look what Michael Huggins is. Look who that man has become in the world. I remember him his first 5 years in this program. Right, he made $3,000 his first year, and I don't remember his second now, but I mean, he didn't make a lot of money, but he didn't quit. And so that morning, that Thursday morning, one of the most powerful experiences that you could possibly create for your prospect, for your guest. I mean, I'm even telling my team members, that ones that are like, I can't make it, I got this, I got that. I'm like, listen, I don't care if you come for one day. Right, I don't care. It's worth it. 357. Come for one day. Right, come on. Fly in on Thursday if you can. Come to the meeting Thursday night because that's where the huge announcement's going to be Thursday night. Then come Friday. Come to the awards banquet and fly home Saturday morning. Like if that's what you can only afford to do because of work commitments or family challenges or whatever, or income challenge, whatever. Like figure it out. At least come for a portion of it, right? So that you can witness. You know, witness what's happening. But, man, you want to talk about an experience, guys? Watching the people come up on stage and sharing from their heart the difference that this organization has made in their life, that right there is life-changing. So you want people to have that experience on that Thursday morning. So thank you, Jeremy, for coming out and sharing that. You inspired me to share that moment with all of you, because that was, in my whole life, one of the things I'll never forget, is being on stage that morning and seeing that line. Awesome. Anybody else? Any other thoughts, comments, questions? Come on out.
Someone typed in the chat, Bob, what drive are you?
That's a good question. Director is the one that resonates with me the most, and then a relator is my secondary drive, for sure. But that's really what is, as I've gone through all of Woody's trainings, director, relator is probably my two most important.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing with what you said today. I was going to guess a relator, just you seem like you're very much a relator. Jesse is off mute. Did you have a question, Jesse?
No, I didn't know I was. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Kenneth, you're off mute. Did you have a question? Anybody else have a question or comment for Bob? Five, four, three, two, one.
Awesome. Well, thank you for the opportunity. I am so grateful for this program and for the opportunity to be here to share with you. You know, and so impressed with who Mr. Michael Huggins has become. The world excited for Michael and Vanessa's new baby to arrive, and excited to get to see all of you at the national conference. So just remember that, you know, you're being a independent marketing affiliate, you're being an ICM, is an opportunity for you to be someone in the world that makes a difference for humanity. You know, I think of the parents' lives that we've changed and the children's lives that we've changed, and, you know, all the people who are better parents today, better people, you know, more capable. You know, the debt that's being eliminated with velocity banking, with people within our community, the cash flow that's been created, it's remarkable. And I know that it's not easy sometimes, right? As we, you know, try to figure out how to generate leads and try to figure out how to have better conversations with people, and we deal with, you know, people who are stubborn and have their perspective. But, you know, I know in my heart what we have and who we are. And as you discover for yourself, as you take your classes, as you know, get to know our instructors, and as you know, really fall in love with direct sales like I have, it becomes the easiest thing in the world, right? I have not felt like I've worked in, you know, 12 years. I've been here 14 years. Those first couple of years were tough, and a learning curve, and, you know, I really had to dig deep on many occasions, but, you know, once you get it, you get it. So thank you. Appreciate the opportunity to be here. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. I will be speaking for Dr. Gary Lawrence and Sylvia Lawrence's meeting tonight in Phoenix. If you have anybody, bring them out. It's gonna be an awesome meeting tonight. We're doing an ICM training tomorrow for Zach Ullman's team, and then Super Saturday. I'm going to be there doing Super Saturday for the community on Saturday, for this Saturday in Phoenix. So thank you for the opportunity to be out here on your call today, and I look forward to seeing everybody soon.
Thanks, Bob. Lots of people are sending you love on the chat if you can't see it, so thanks again.
All right, so does somebody else say something?
Oh, I just said thank you.
Okay, got it. Oh, thank you, Scott. I just saw your text. Thank you, everybody. Make it a great day.
Thank you. Likewise. God bless.